Hi everybody, welcome to Mayor's Night Out, Hess Elementary School, 6th District. As is normal custom, when we start Mayor's Night Out, we always have the district councilman introduce himself and welcome everybody here. So let's give it up for the 6th District Councilman, Scott Rakos.
Thank you, Mayor. I just spent 5-6 hours watching my twin 5-month-old grandsons and came directly here, tried to jot some notes down, but I'll do the best I can. If I can read my notes, I'll be doing good. So projects from last year, Kennedy finally got done from 64th to 169th. We still have some finishing touches, still need to be done. Trees that have not made it through the harsh summer this year will be replaced by the contractor. Sidewalks in the district, we got a few of those done. Gibson Park, that's the park I grew up in, new playground equipment, and I'm proud of that I finally got that done too. We had some trees cut down and trimmed in the district. Projects coming up, community crossing grant for 165th from Kennedy to Parrish. Kennedy Avenue for Phase 2 from 164th Place to Toll Road. And Marquette Greenway, which I'm not really familiar with, but it's from Kennedy to Klein along the Grand Calumet River. I wanted to point out I'm very closely associated with HC3, and they had some events this year. They've been around for 10 years now, and they're doing a really good job in the community. Live in the Ville made it back to the original area under the newly refurbished Kennedy Avenue. It worked out really well. We had like the best turnout, even though Saturday morning it rained pretty hard. We had movie night the other night, thanks to Jaime. We had movie in the park last couple Saturdays ago. It worked out really good. We had 125 people. It was good to see. Last time we did that was in 2019. I think we'll be bringing it back. Hessville Crime Watch takes place at the HC3 building, which is officially called the Hanson Community Center. We're going to have Frostyville coming up again on the same day as the Hammond Holiday Parade. Probably starts about 2 o'clock. We held 3 cleanups since last time we were here. This last Saturday, we had a good group of kids from Hammond Central and Hammond Morton, and we were able to get the cleanup. We've been doing that for since before COVID. So the building has been done inside, and now we're doing some outside work on it. It's raising money to do that. For a while, we didn't know whether we were gonna have to sell it or not, but we got a good group of people on the board, and HC3 and the Hanson Community Center is very positive for the Hessville community. Thank you.
Thanks, Scott. We're gonna go ahead and introduce the department heads. I want to remind everybody Mayor's Night Out is a product of the written question. So where's Eileen? Right now I got Eileen over there, I got Noemi in the back. Anybody else with clipboards? Oh, Jessica's over there. If you want to start a topic, go see one of them. They have a clipboard and say, I want to talk about Briar East Woods, for instance. And then we'll talk about that. And obviously we're going to talk about Briar East Woods. I obviously can see the t-shirts. But if you want to do another topic, like you want to talk about something that's going on with the budget or something like that, write down a written question. We ask that you put your name and address on there. You don't have to do that. The reason we do that is so we can get back to you. All right? These written questions go right to the department head at effects, and then from that point, we usually try to follow them up with the person that wrote the question. So I want to thank the elected officials in attendance. Thank you for being here. Again, our host councilman, Scott Rakos. He's the council president. I'd like to thank Councilwoman at Large, Janet Vanez. Thank you very much, Janet. Councilman at Large, Dan Spitali. Thank you very much, Councilman. And Hammond School Board Trustee, Cindy Murphy. Thank you for being here, Cindy. We'll go ahead and introduce the department heads, and then after that, I'm going to introduce the YMCA to come up here and do a presentation about the new Hammond YMCA that's opening. But first, we're going to head and start with introducing the department heads, starting right now with
Sharon Daniels, College Bound, and Personnel.
Megan Flores, City Controller.
Jim Talon, Park Department.
Chris Campbell, Information Technology.
Chris Sakalaris, Legal Aid Clinic.
Jen Bussey, HDC.
Ann Taylor, Planning and Development.
Nicholas Farrell, Code Enforcement.
Awana Miller, Community Development. Andrea Lewis, United Neighborhoods, Inc.
Ron Novak, Environmental Management.
Bob Vale, Building Department. Scott Miller, Chief of Staff.
Kevin Smith, Corporation Counsel.
Jaime Prieto, Water. Jeff Long, Police Department.
Bernie Grzilia, Hammond Fire Department.
Juan J. Moreno, Economic Development.
Dean Button, Engineering.
Jack Smith, Sewer Maintenance.
Mila Krasinski, Sanitary District.
Jeff Smith, Port Authority.
Felix Gonzalez, Public Works.
Kelly Kearney, Inspections Department.
Brian Poland, City Planning.
I like to do this at each Mayor's Night Out, so I like to ask which one of my department heads lives in Hessville in this case, just to show you that we do a pretty good job trying to hire from all over the city. So how many people in here live in Hessville? Raise your hand, please. All right, pretty solid. Thank you. So as everybody knows, when I took over 21 years ago as mayor, one of the first things I did was say that we're going to have a residency ordinance in the city of Hammond, and I was going to start with my department heads, and we did that. And I find that when we're going around and doing Mayor's Night Out, it's always reassuring for the residents to look up there and see their neighbors are the ones that are making decisions about their city. So anyway, good to be here. Very proud in Hammond that not only we have a great YMCA on Southeastern that wasn't renovated very long ago, by the way. This overall, the YMCA renovations you're seeing throughout Northwest Indiana are due to the generosity of one family, primarily, the Dean and Barbara White. The Dean and Barbara White Foundation. Dean White owned Whiteco. Whiteco owns hotels, it owned billboards. It became an empire. He was one of the only billionaires that lived in Northwest Indiana. He lived in Crown Point. He had hotels here in Hammond. He had hotels all across America. Austin, Texas, Indianapolis. Passed away about a decade ago. His wife passed away shortly after. They created a foundation based out of Crown Point, and since that time, this foundation has gifted to communities across Northwest Indiana hundreds of millions of dollars. And Hammond has been no exception. You know, the first YMCA renovation, and Jay's going to talk about this in a second, but the first YMCA, the one we have on Southeastern, that YMCA renovation was not cheap. It basically completely renovated that facility. And within 2 years of that facility being completely renovated, City of Hammond had money in there also, and I know Jay did a good job at the YMCA raising money, but we renovated that YMCA, and while it was still sparkling new, Jay starts talking to the city about an idea over there right next to the Sportsplex, about a destination YMCA. And I love talking about big projects. I love that. And but a lot of times when I talk about big projects, they don't happen because they're too big sometimes and it's just too much money involved, right? And in this case, I was thinking to myself, Jay, I love it. It's a great idea. Destination YMCA right next to the Sportsplex, the synergies would be amazing, but we just got done building a new YMCA, renovating the one. Do we have the money? Dean and Barbara White Foundation steps up again. They're totally behind this project. City Hammond's in it as well. Jay's doing more fundraising in the YMCA front. And we have a $70 million YMCA that's less than a month away from opening up right on Indianapolis Boulevard, right next to the Sportsplex. The biggest YMCA in the United States of America, in Hammond, Indiana. Obviously, extremely proud to be housing this, and we all see it going up right there on Indianapolis Boulevard next to the Sportsplex. It's literally getting ready to break ground, and at the Mayor's Night Out beforehand, we wanted the YMCA to come up here and do a short presentation to the Mayor's Night Out crowd. So if you please give a warm welcome to the CEO of Northwest Indiana YMCA, Jay Buckmaster, everybody.
Thanks, Mayor. I'm also here with Kevin Klein. Kevin Klein is the Executive Director of the Hammond YMCA. Yeah, the mayor's right. You know, Hammond is a great story. In 2010, the National Y came into Hammond, and the Hammond Y was an independent Y and was in trouble. It was ready to close, and it didn't look very good. It had a couple thousand members, and they asked the Crown Point Y at that time to come in and see if they could come together and you know, maybe combine forces, and that's when that started. In 2000, and so some time went by, and in 2018, we went to the mayor and said, you know, Mayor, along with the opening of the South Lake Y, we know that we can do better at the Hammond Y. And we did about a $4 million project in there, and the mayor was one of the first ones to step up. And that Y, about a $4 million renovation, went from serving 2,000 to 3,000 people to currently that has 17,000 members at it. It's interesting because, you know, we brag about South Lake, but I said that that is the largest, smallest Y in the United States right now. There's no Y that has more people in the smallest square footage of that 38,000 square feet than that Y has. We were, a couple years ago, we hosted an event with 100 Ys across the country to see what we were doing, and there wasn't one CEO or a board volunteer that wasn't envious, that wanted a mayor like Mayor Tom to be the mayor of their city, because they couldn't believe that a city would wrap around and commit to the resources that a mayor would, like Mayor Tom did, to this project and to this community. And so my hat's off to him, because you know, we came up with this dream, but he supported this. And so I can tell you that there is not one $70 million YMCA being built in America right now in any community in the United States. And so what a cool thing to go from almost getting closed down to 14 years later being one of the largest YMCAs in the United States. So what a cool thing to open in the next 30 days. So a couple of key things. The current YMCA will close on, members will get this communication probably tomorrow if they haven't gotten it already, but we'll close November 8th at noon. So that will be the last day of, well, the last day for a little bit before it opens again, but we'll close November 8th at noon, because we've got a little time to take all the equipment out of there and start moving it. So it'll close November 8th at noon, and the new building will reopen November 20th. So in 12 days, we've got new equipment being delivered, we've got transition equipment being delivered, but the new Y will open November 20th at 4:45 in the morning. And so that is a complete month at least quicker than we thought this would be open. We thought before Christmas, now it's before Thanksgiving. And so November 20th at 4:45, that Y will be open. But we've got a couple of cool things for the community prior to that. So current members, if you're a current member, you probably received an email that there's sneak peek opportunities available. I know that about 700 of you, if you're a member, had already signed up for it. Between November 11th and November 14th, you can sign up for a sneak peek. So we'll get you into that building. You'll be able to see all the features, all the activities that will be going on prior to that, so you can get your bearings, figure out everything that's going on there. So we'll give you a private tour between that time. There's also a membership special going on right now till the end of the month. So you can do that. Right next to Subway, actually, we have, in those strip malls, we have a membership office, or you can do that at the Hammond Y. We do have an open house on November 19th. So November 19th, that's going to be a Tuesday from noon until 7 p.m. So have your employer, tell them it's important for wellness, workplace wellness, to give you an hour off to come and see the Y, and that health is important. So all these things will be coming out, but open house on November 19th from 12 to 7. On our website, there is a dedication page, so all of our schedules will start to appear on there. The 1st of November, we're going to have some sneak peeks on some get-to-know-you pieces, some different features and small clips of videos and things that we will have to start to introduce you to all the facilities and pieces of the new Hammond Y. So we're excited to be able to talk to you about that. You can currently, you can fit 3 of the current Hammond Ys into the new Y. So when it gives you a little perspective of how big that is. There'll be, not only when you think about the fitness space is about 21,000 square feet, which is about half the current Y is just fitness. All right, when you think about wellness space, we know that it's much bigger than what the current one is. There's 3 gyms. We've got 2 pools, so there'll be a zero-depth toddler bay area. There's a little river in there. There's water walking, water resistance. You got a warm water pool. You got a dedicated lap pool. There's a whirlpool in there, sauna. You've got Group X studios, 3 Group X studios, 3 youth studios, cafe, kids zone, kids club. E-gym is coming to Hammond, so that's been a popular item at some of our other places. Big track, 7 laps a mile for a track, so suspended above on the 2nd floor, and so we're excited. There's a bunch of features that we'll be able to share with you, and all those features will be able to provide a ton of nice programming. So on the youth side, of course, you know, expanded swim lessons, parent-child swim lessons, open swim times. We have a lot of slides, splash features, all those types of things, expanded group exercise classes, expanded water exercise classes, obviously expanded kids classes, STEM classes, cooking classes. We have a healthy living kitchen. We've got a full kitchen, STEM rooms for whether it's any type of constructibles. You know, now mom and dad, you can have them make slime at the Y and not dirty, you know, your kitchen's up. You can dirty ours up, right? Group training, water walking, lap swimming, boxing, all those types of things will start to appear on all the program guides and so on that we have coming out. So a ton of different pieces, and so we're excited about that. A lot of questions are what's going to happen to current Hammond. We just renovated it a little bit ago. There are some shortcomings to New Hammond, and so what we had seen is we expect that Y will grow to about 35,000 people, if not a little bit more. So we want to keep some spaces clean to make sure that we've got some room available. What we don't have at current, what will be the new Y, we don't have outdoor space. There's a lot of concrete still around there. And so we are adding on the south side where the parking lot is, there were some old beat up basketball courts and so on. We're going to add 2 turf fields out there, some smaller turf fields. We call them urban soccer parks like we did at South Lake. We're also going to add a multi-purpose court that'll have outdoor basketball, pickleball, soccer, those types of courts out there as well. So we need some outdoor field space, and so we're going to do that. We're also going to run day camp there. This current Y is not a great place to run day camp with all the concrete around it, and so we want to be able to use the trails, use the outdoor space, and run day camp there. After school type programming out there. Also, when we talk about sports programming, right, we know there's going to be a lot of demand on our gyms for family programming and family time. So we're going to fill in the pool, and that pool, when we fill it in, will turn into big multi-purpose space. So that'll turn into a multi-purpose gym space, pickleball courts, just again, run around space for kids after school, and then using it for some specialty programming like music, some advanced STEM stuff for middle schoolers and high schoolers. So that's really what current Hammond will start to use. So we are not doing any demo, like when you think about the new nice space we made in the front, we're just putting some drywall between some of those and making some classrooms. So the only thing we're demoing really is the pool, right? I mean, we're filling that in, and then those locker rooms, which need a demo long ago. And doing some of that and putting classroom spaces in there for camp, before and after school programs and so on. Otherwise, the stuff that we renovated, we're keeping exactly like it is because it's in great shape. So those are the pieces on current Hammond. And then the next phase is the water park. So the water park will come shortly after. We're working through, it's gonna come right off the current pools. And so we're just navigating, trying to work through the 2 strip malls there and making sure that we've got to do some rearranging as far as tenants and different things between both of those buildings. But we expect that water park, that we can start building that next year. And then by 2026 is the goal, the summer of 26, that the outdoor water park would be up. And again, we've got 2 large slides that are in there. We've got 0 depth entry area there. We've got it designed. We've got multi-slides. We've got spray grounds and outdoor concessions and nice deck space and so on out there. So a lot of fun stuff, a lot of exciting things, coming and unveiling over the next month, and then the next 12 to 18 months after that.
Okay, one more time for Jay Buckmaster and the Hammond YMCA, everybody. Thank you, Kevin, for being there. So the YMCA is going to be open soon, and the projections that he was talking about, you said 17,000 in the current Y currently, and they're projecting it to be at least twice that with the new Y opening. So that's how many new people they expect to join the Y. Those are mostly Hammond residents we're talking about, and I think that's good for the community. So thank you very much. It's great to see, a long time ago when I took over as your mayor, one of the big questions was, what are you going to do with Woodmar Mall? And it was still technically open at that time. It was on its last dying gasps. And to see what it is now with the Sportsplex, undergoing a renovation, one of the larger tourist attractions in Northwest Indiana, right next door to a $70 million YMCA. I think we could say mission accomplished on that piece of property. And we still got a ways to go, but we have answered the call. And we got a lot more calls to answer, but it's nice to see something working out so well. So thank you again. And if you ever get a chance to talk to anybody from the Dean and Barbara White Foundation, and just, you just see somebody working for them, or just say thank you for what they've done to the city. Other than business connections, they lived in Crown Point. They didn't live in Hammond. There's no reason why Hammond should get more than any other community. And it's just, they've taken a liking to us, and they've taken a liking to our residents, and they've taken a liking to our business community, and literally they're putting their money where their mouth is, and it's changing our city. So thank you very much. Appreciate it. Let's go ahead and get started. So thanks everybody for going through that. How you doing, Eileen?
Hi, Mayor. I'm good. How are you?
Great. Eileen's a special events coordinator for the city. She's also a Hessville resident. She was raising her hand.
Not
Right?
Hessville yet.
No, my bad. You want
Not
to
yet.
be. Yeah, you're working on it.
Working on it.
Yes, she is. So anyway, I'm not forcing her to move to an area. She really wants to move here, I promise. So it's good to see you. I didn't get a chance to introduce Dave Ham. I see he's hiding back there. Our Lake County Councilman, Dave Ham. He's a Hammond guy also. Thanks for being here, Dave. Let's go ahead and get started. For those of you that don't watch council meetings, and a lot of people in here do watch council meetings, because if you go to Mayor's Night Out, you're plugged in. And last night at the council meeting, we did first and second reading on our city budget. It's a very busy time in the city right now. In negotiations with the police department, negotiations with the fire department, negotiation with multiple different Teamsters unions. Obviously, we're running the city Hammond. We got large projects. We're working on a large project right now, bigger than we've ever had in the city Hammond right now. And I think we're going to have good news eventually. Things are crazy right now, but it's crazy good. And I want to say thank you to the Hammond City Council, because without a partner in the Hammond City Council, none of this stuff could happen. And all you have to do is look at some other communities around here that are paralyzed by inaction, where the mayor is fighting with the council and the council's fighting with the mayor and nothing gets done. That's not happening here. We're getting stuff done. And, obviously there's a lot of people here that don't necessarily agree with everything we're doing. And you know, you have an opportunity in Hammond to air your grievances at Mayor's Night Out, which is wonderful. So thanks for being here. But overall, I think things are going really well. I really do. I think we're kicking butt in Hammond. Over the last 20 years, we've added $1 billion to our assessed value. That helps everybody. That helps us pay our cops. That helps our schools. That helps us because we have more options to go shopping right here in our home community. $1 billion is a lot of money. Hammond was worth about $2 billion when I took over, and it's worth over 3 now, 3.2. That's just, our property tax revenue is back to where it was before the tax caps took effect. These are like small little victories in my head that I'm celebrating, but this is like monumental because what we've done is we've taken Hammond from, it was a city that was primarily relying on gaming money, and we diversified ourselves really well. We're selling lots of water to communities all over the region now. We have good agreements worked out with our utilities where they're paying pilot payments, and we're using that money to help support our city budget. And we're bringing in new business, and it's working, guys. So I know that sometimes we get pissed off, and sometimes the mayor doesn't say the right things, and sometimes the mayor makes mistakes, and it angers you, and you're here. I see that. But I think overall, the fact that you're here is a positive for our community as well. Even if you don't like what we're proposing or what we're doing, just the fact that we're talking about it and you're showing up to a public meeting, we're alive and we're kicking, and I appreciate you guys being here. So welcome to Mayor's Night Out. Why don't we go ahead and jump into the topic du jour, if you don't mind. I got a lot of green shirts. That's usually a pretty good signal something's not going on like it's supposed to be. And I'm aware of this. We're talking about, we call it the Briar East Woods. Is on your shirt. We call it Governor's Parkway. It's the bridge, the proposal that we're talking about. And it's more than a proposal because this has been going on for, Dean, when did this start really?
Well, 2017 was when we made application to the state for a local tracks program.
So I guess that's officially when it started, 2017.
Yeah.
We applied with local tracks.
Yep.
So it was under Governor Holcomb's administration.
Yes.
In his first year, I guess, because he took over after 2017.
Yeah, the legislature put together a program to fund grade separation projects back then.
So we put in for it, and there's a grade separation involved in this, right?
True.
Right. So Hessville's a tough place to do business as far as if you want to do a large-scale public works project. We tried in another part of Hessville to put a pedestrian bridge in over by Scott Middle School. And every proposal for a pedestrian bridge, we were having trouble doing it without taking multiple houses for a pedestrian bridge, literally up and down over the railroad tracks. And how many pieces of property just a simple thing like that would affect, right? So if you're talking about a bridge or a tunnel, you're talking, it's got to be in an area either that's completely rural, so to speak, or you're going to take lots of properties. Is that fair?
Yeah, I mean, if you're building in an urban area, you're going to displace people.
And Hessville's
A
tightly
large amount
packed
of people.
urban area.
It is.
So we come up with a proposal. Listen, I've been mayor a long time, and I talk to Hessville people, and I live adjacent to Hessville. I live in Woodmar, so I drive through Hessville every day of my life, and I love it, by the way. It's no secret that trains has been a constant problem in the city of Hammond. I read letters to the editor from the 1940s and the 1950s where people are complaining to the mayor about trains in Hessville. And I'm not saying anything that you don't know, because you're from Hessville. We're here at Hess School in Hessville. This is no surprise to anybody sitting here. We all know that trains are an issue. But they're not right now, Mayor. Okay? Right now, it's better. I was stopped by a train just last week in Hessville, but it is better, I say. When this started in 2017, it was unbearable going through Hessville, right?
Yes, sir.
They stopped on that line over by Hessville Park.
Hours.
Hours.
Every day.
With no regard. And it's interesting that we're at Hess School and we're having this debate. I'm no police officer, or I'm no fireman either, okay? But I'm going to talk to experts, like my fire chief. Bernie, could you grab a microphone?
Absolutely, Mayor.
What's par for response time for a firefighter? Like if I call you at my house, what do you like to see your people at my house within, like time frame wise?
Well, Mayor, we're fortunate to have a response time of under 4 minutes here in the city of Hammond. with
Everywhere?
6 fires. Everywhere, correct.
So even at Hess School from Station 8?
except we catch a train, absolutely.
Except for when we catch trains. So right now, under perfect conditions with no train,
Yes.
we can get the ambulance from Station 8 here to Hess School in 4 minutes.
Absolutely, yes.
What happens if there's a train blocking though?
We're obviously going to be delayed probably from 4 minutes, probably at least 10 to even 15 minutes, depending on the train, what intersections are blocked. We might have to hop on 80, 94 and reroute. So we're talking about tripling our times, at least tripling.
Chief Long, you're a Hessville guy,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And I mean, am I lying? Am I saying trains are a problem and that's just a mayor talking to a lion? Or is this a problem?
No, it's a problem. It's been a problem my entire almost 35 and a half year career. It delays responses to people that are victims of crimes. It delays responses to businesses, people that are injured. Many times we get caught by a train, we have to work our way around it. And we also have the issue of kids climbing over the train is another issue that's, for public safety. So I respect and I care about the people that are here tonight to save Briar East Woods. But I will tell you that in my career, I've had many meetings with the trains. Many promises have been made, and they've went back on many of those. And all I would say is, if you think things are good now, it just wait. It's going to be bad again. And to me, trees are important, of course, but they're not more important than public safety and the safety of our kids. They're just not.
And I appreciate that. Okay. And so you agree with Bernie also about the response times?
Absolutely.
This part of the city in particular, it's harder to get to this part of the city because it's like an island out here, especially if there's trains.
Absolutely.
So I find it ironic that we're in Hess School because this is actually the part of the city we talk about that's the most vulnerable with a train blocking Hessville, okay? But this goes back to, but the trains are better. They learned their lesson. They're not going to do it anymore. Okay. Chief Long just said, I don't trust these people because he's been doing this for 35 years. He's been dealing with the trains for a long time. I've only been dealing with them for 21 years, and I just got straight lied to. Let me tell you a story. Kevin, could you grab the microphone, please? This is Corporate Counsel Kevin Smith. I'm sure you know where I'm going with this, right, Kev? Yes. So we have this idea because kids are crawling through the trains to get to Scott Middle School. They're crawling through the stop trains. Let's get over the fact that these are horrible parents that are letting their kids crawl into the trains. We all agree on that, right? But nonetheless, it's happening. What are we going to do to stop these kids from crawling through these stop trains? One of the ideas we come up with, let's do like a pedestrian bridge. Just something simple. Just get us up, get us over, get us down. At least when they're stopped, we can get these kids up and over and they won't crawl through, right? I personally talked to the CEO of Norfolk Southern. It was Norfolk Southern, right?
Yes.
And the CEO, the guy that goes on MSNBC and I have a long conversation, he's wonderful. We have a great conversation. He's like, Mayor, what could I do? I said, CEO, I forgot his name. I didn't call him that, I said his name. But I said, CEO, if we build a pedestrian bridge over there, they can get over your stop trains and they won't use this anymore. And that CEO said, that's a wonderful idea, Mayor. We'll pay for that. I was like, are you kidding? This is wonderful, CEO. And I called my team. And my team hires a firm. CEO starts paying the bills for the firm. And we're like, we're going to have a pedestrian bridge that gets us over the stop trains, and Norfolk Southern's going to pay for it. This is wonderful, right? Well, guess what happened? As soon as the newspaper stopped talking about kids crawling through stop trains, suddenly the CEO gets fired and the next guy's got amnesia. He doesn't remember such a promise, guys. And now, guess what? We're screwed on the pedestrian bridge. Oh, we never said we're paying any such bridge. So guess what, guys? If the trains aren't stopping in Hessville now, who's to say next month they stop every day again? So let me tell you a story, guys. We got a $14 million bridge. $12 million is being paid for by the state of Indiana to get us over this problem forever. You'll never have to stop at a train in Hessville again. The negative is we have to go through Briar East Woods. It's the only way we could do it without massive eminent domain. Massive. We're talking about a bridge. It's got certain clearances that go up, certain clearances that come down. There's nowhere in Hessville we could do it without massive eminent domain. Calling people saying, sorry, I got to take your house and your backyard. We'd be foolish if we turned this money down, guys. We'd be foolish. I'd be committing malpractice as a mayor. They're paying for our bridge. They know it's a problem. They're paying for our bridge. And what I'm hearing from people that don't have the responsibilities I do, this is my job. This is what you pay me for, to run this city. to fix problems. We got it paid for by somebody else, and I'm getting crap every mayor's night out to talk about the same topic. What you're saying is this. This is what you're saying. Turn down the free money. We trust the CEO of Norfolk Southern. That's what you're saying. Well, I don't. I do not trust that CEO. They will lie to us, and they'll start those trains tomorrow, and they don't give a crap about you. They don't give a crap about kids crawling through the trains. And then guess what? The funniest part of this is then people will show up at Mayor's Night Out and say, you suck. Trains are blocking Hessville. What are you going to do about it? That's what's going to happen if I turn down this money, and I'm not going to do it. I respect you. I appreciate the fact you're here. I'm not turning down this free money. We're going to build this bridge. We're going to get over those stop trains, and we're never going to wait for a damn train in Hessville again. When I'm done, I apologize. I know it hurts your feelings. I'm not going to waste a bunch of time at Mayor's Night Out because I apologize. I've said thousands of words on this topic at Mayor's Night Out, and you keep showing up. I respect you. I don't know what's different. There's nothing different than last month when we talked. It's still a state project. They're still paying for it, the same exact route, and I still support it. And by the way, I ran for mayor while this was pending, got reelected. Scott Rakos ran for reelection, big supporter of this project, got reelected. Councilman, did this come up during your election?
No, not really.
I don't know what to say, guys. What you're saying is turn down this money. Tell Governor Holcomb, sorry, we like trains. We want to keep waiting here in Hessville. Not this guy. Sorry. Sorry. Okay. I'm sure there's questions. Ken, start us off, bud. You're not shy. Hey, hold on. We need to get a microphone to Ken. Because, I mean, Ken is a nice person that cares about his community and cares about an issue and completely doesn't agree with me. And I respect him for it because he gives a crap about our community. He's trying his best, and I appreciate it. But nonetheless, we don't agree on this issue. So, hi, Ken.
Well, I think the key issue here, Mayor, is you're talking about bridge or no bridge. That is not the option. We spoke with the Federal Railway Administration. They called us, okay, and I'm sure you've spoken to them all as well. Hammond is a priority. They said that if we decided to go with either an underpass or overpass option on Grand Avenue, they would fund it. So your argument about not getting the money, we're talking about a solution as well, the best solution. Your solution closes the fastest emergency route. Our solution leaves that route open and creates a fail-safe route that also services the children. That now that we know, now that we know that the pedestrian bridge is going on, now that hazard remains. Right?
Hold on 2 seconds.
Doesn't it?
I'm going to assume
there's no, I mean, seriously, that hazard remains.
Okay, hold on. Let's act like what Ken's is saying is true, that he talked to this secret government person that would secretly fund our secret tunnel, okay? So now, let's assume that we were going to do this on Grand Avenue, okay?
Yep.
Could you talk about the logistics, like if we built a tunnel, let's just assume that we could pay for it, okay? That suddenly we had this magical ability to pay for a tunnel on Grand Avenue that would solve this problem.
Sure.
Logistically, what would that do to the residents of Grand Avenue, Morton High School, things like that?
It isolates a number of neighborhoods in the area because of the length of the approaches on both sides.
Because it's like a drop down, right?
It has to drop down. There's projections upwards of $5 million worth of property acquisition.
Just property acquisition.
Just to buy the property to do so.
That's what, 5 million? Let's just do quick math. That's what, how many, 75 home acquisitions?
There's the apartment complex there at Briar.
Apartments?
Greenbrier,
so,
right?
There's hundreds of relocations.
There's businesses sort of related to that.
These are the things like that engineers have to think about.
It's not wrong. You'll find out when they can finally, would you?
Part of the problem in America is this. Hold on. This isn't Ken's night out. This is Mayor's night out, Ken. I apologize.
It's
okay?
not true.
All right. No. What do you mean, whatever? He's a professional engineer. He got Oh, Ken could yell loudest, so what you're...
He's lying to us.
Oh, really?
He has said
Dean, you're lying?
No, sir.
Okay? He said 100 houses. Then he said 50 houses. And then it's actually, we find out in the design, it's 9, and we're not even sure if that's the amount.
Did you run for office on this issue? Yes.
Underpass takes up a third of the amount of space.
All right. Well, Ken,
As an overpass.
I hate to break it to you.
So you're exempt, and you
No. I'm going to tell you. I support the bridge. I never heard about this magic person that's going to pay for the underpass. I talked to a professional engineer who's licensed in our state that tells me, Mayor, that's not feasible. What Ken's yelling about in a meeting is completely not feasible. And believe it or not, Ken, you're a heck of a guy. But I believe the professional engineer because he's educated on this topic. So I'm like, okay.
consistently misrepresenting
All right.
what's going on from the very beginning.
Thank you.
From the very beginning.
We'll go to
It's
the
not
next
true,
one.
Ken. It's not true at all.
All right, hold on. We need microphones so that people at home can hear you. No, you do, actually. Yeah. Thank you.
I'll hold it.
I'm hearing two different options. I don't see in any documentation any.
There's no two different options. There's one option.
Well, have you considered any
There's-
other options?
Is this the first time you've heard about this issue? Because this has been going on for a while. What do you do when somebody screams out in the middle of, what do you do when somebody screams out in the middle of a public meeting? What do you do? Can you have a public meeting when Ken is just like, I am more important than everybody in this room, so Ken gets to yell out loud? What do you do in that case? No, what do you do in that case? You either shut the meeting down or you get the person that's causing the problems out of here. That's what you do. I'm not going to sit here and listen to Ken scream out loud. I'm not.
But I'm not.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I know that, ma'am.
So, did we look into this other underpass? Because I'm also reading, and I'm not sure how accurate, I'm reading bald eagle, barred owls. These are birds that are like protected. So killing a forest that these animals come to, that's endangered species.
Okay.
So,
Dean?
like, have you looked at
So
that
an
dynamic?
environmental document was prepared, and normally in Northwest Indiana, there are several endangered species that are identified, which includes the Indiana bat, there's another bat, there's a Karner blue butterfly, there's certain other plant life that's considered endangered. All of that was looked at as part of this process. It's a federal requirement. When you use federal money, you have to do a National Environmental Protection Act document called a NEPA document, which this is raised to the highest level where we look at what happens to the environment, we look at what happens to wetlands, we look at what happens to historic properties, we look at, or at least NDOT's design consultant did all of this work. We're waiting for Federal Highway to approve our NEPA document in order to move forward with this project. There was no,
Been approved.
Yes, ma'am.
we're just waiting on approval, ma'am.
So
They can still shoot it down.
So from 2017 to now, which is like 5 years, you don't have approval. But you're
No,
yelling at
it's a
people like,
process.
I'm gonna build this.
It's a process. No, they can
But-
shoot it down.
And you don't,
but-
but you don't have approval yet.
No,
So
we
why
have,
are-
We've
why
done
is
everything we
everybody
can.
even-
We've done everything we can locally. They could shoot it down. Like, I think that's ultimately the goal of Ken and his crew. I can't speak for them, but if they make enough noise, maybe they kill this project. And if they kill this project, City of Hammond loses $14 million. Okay, so there'd be
But
some people that are
wasn't your-
clapping.
But did the,
Can I-
it's not like
Listen. Some people would clap if we lost $14 million and this bridge would fall apart, and there'd be a lot more people that wouldn't. Okay? But, like, yeah, that could happen.
if we don't move forward on this project, we're paying NDOT back at least
If
$2
we
million.
choose not to.
If we
If we
choose
choose
not to
not to.
move
If
forward.
we choose not to.
If we choose not to, we repay NDOT the design fee that they've expended, which is in excess of $2 million, and still don't have a bridge or a crossing.
But if it got shot down for some reason, different story. Hi.
It won't get shut down. We're just waiting for approval.
Hi.
Hi, good evening.
Thanks for
I
being here.
prepared a comment if I could read it.
Could we have everyone please state their name before
Yeah.
they speak, please?
My name's Lisa Valley. I'm the organizing director for Just Transition Northwest Indiana. I'm a Robertsdale resident, former Hessville resident, and a nature enthusiast. I am here today to support the Dune Dusters and advocate for the preservation of the Briar East Woods. In just 50 years, the animal populations worldwide have declined by 70%. In 2023, EPA report found that there are 1,300 U.S. animals with an endangered or threatened status. The number one cause for this decline is wildlife is habitat loss created by human activities. The Briar East Woods, as someone has stated, is home to many species, from frogs and toads to birds like great blue heron, nesting hawks, and hosts thousands of migrating birds each spring and fall. Recently, a fox was discovered with its 2 kits, and even the federally protected American bald eagle visits the woods. When I think of what it will look like if you are successful in destroying this crucial habitat, I am taken back to a movie, Fern Gully, which I watched as a child. In the film, there is a scene where the evil bulldozer starts plowing down the magical forest, and the animals are running, scared and screaming. I will leave you with a quote from the film's main character, who is being begged by her human friend to flee the forest. As the bulldozer gets closer, she says, "We can't, we have nowhere else to go, this is our home."
All right, thank you.
My name is Brandon, and I'm just a Hammond resident. I just want to ask everybody that's against the bridge, have you ever been on the other side responding to an emergency call and you don't make it in time because you stop by a train and you get there and there's a dead child? I have. I mean, just think about it. It's going to help response times.
Thank you. The thing is, it's hard for a person like Brandon to speak up like that because it's not easy to stand up to a crowd of people and say things that you know they don't want to hear. So I really appreciate you doing that. And part of the hard thing about being mayor is I know there's people out there like Brandon that talk to me and wouldn't be comfortable doing what he just did. So I really appreciate you speaking up. And I want you to know there's a lot more, you know, I respect everybody here, but I've been trained in 21 years of what these trains have done to our city, and I'm no fan. And you guys are asking me to trust them, and I don't. So, hi, TJ. Oh, I'm sorry, Alberto.
Alberto Ochoa,
Hey,
Heslo
sir.
resident.
How you doing, sir?
Good evening. Where I work at, my corporate office is in Detroit. Somebody had the idea of doing these underpasses. When it rains, 80% of these bridges are shut down. The 20% that they have re-engineered, we need to use heavy-duty pickup trucks to get through them. That's just something that happened over there, and I'm sure it'll probably happen here to let the residents know what type of hazards this creates. You always have cars getting stuck and things like that. And like I said, they re-engineered part of it. But even with that, you need a heavy-duty, high pickup truck to get through when it rains.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Hi, TJ. How you doing? All right, guys, come on. Hi, TJ. How you doing, sir?
Hi, how's it going?
Good. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, I want to thank Brandon. I really feel for you, and I really, public safety is, you know, of course, paramount. And, you know, we, of course, are not saying that we don't need a solution, you know, for these trains because of stories like that. I mean, we are advocating for a solution on Grand Avenue, whether it is an underpass or an overpass. And now this overpass option was looked at on Grand Avenue. And it wasn't looked at by some mystery people. It was at the NDOT public hearing where this was all displayed. And we have, on the PowerPoint they were showing us, Grand Avenue overpass. Homes to be taken, 9. And so you guys referenced a pedestrian overpass that you tried to get built in Hessville before, and you said it was an inordinate amount of homes being taken, right? How many homes?
Am I responding, Mayor?
No, just depended on the option, which one we chose, and quite frankly, we're still not, that project's not dead. It's
So
just
what-
not being paid
what
for
were
by,
the- Like, what was the range of options?
we're looking at different options, CJ. This isn't a deposition, man, just say what you gotta say, please.
Oh, so I thought I could ask questions, I'm sorry. So an inordinate amount of houses for a pedestrian overpass, plus the 3 houses that would be taken for Governor's Parkway, must come close to, Grand Avenue overpass takes 9 houses. It leaves Parrish Avenue open for emergency vehicles during 99% of the time when there's no train, plus it gives a fail-safe underpass or overpass on Grand Avenue. That we need a way for these kids to get over the trains to go to school.
Got it?
Governor's Parkway is not it,
Oh,
obviously, as you know.
It does it, and it's paid for by somebody else, so I appreciate it.
It doesn't help walkers, and you've admitted that in previous mayor's
All right.
nights.
If you have, you can
And
walk
so-
over a bridge.
A solution on Grand Avenue helps walkers get to school. They won't climb under trains anymore. It helps emergency vehicles, keeping Parrish Avenue open and Grand Avenue as a fail-safe. It's cheaper because it's not fully paid for by the government. Hammond's still paying, 20%, right?
True.
And so they picked one of the most expensive options, Governor's Parkway, and combined with,
All right.
pedestrian overpass, which you
All
said
right,
we
TJ,
need.
it's not TJ's night out. All right, you had a good question. You had the mic for like 3 hours. Yeah, he could go out and hold a meeting. He could have TJ's night out and you could all show up. God bless. So thanks, man. I appreciate it. All right, how many other questions do we have? Is every question about this issue? Or if there's other questions, I'm free to move
No,
on.
not every question is about this issue.
All right, how many other questions do we have? Because we've already spent an hour on
We
this.
do have quite a bit
All
of
right,
other
let's move on.
questions.
All right, we'll take one more question on this. Ma'am, you got your hand raised. We'll go to her over there. Okay. Hi.
Oh, sorry. First, I just want to say I'm a trans non-binary person, so
I'm sorry.
please watch your language.
I'm not watching I
Second of
I
all-
didn't mean to offend, so.
Second of all, I just wanted to make a comment about this issue. In being that with the discourse on the issue, I feel like there could be a much healthier way to have the discourse that doesn't have bully tactics involved. Because it sounds like everybody here has really important opinions about it and also facts. I would say that it's really disheartening to hear from a mayor that only a professional engineer can have an opinion on something, because most of the kids who go to school
Everybody
or are learning.
has opinions.
Can you let me finish?
No,
Thanks.
but everybody has opinions.
Can you let me finish, please? Thank you. And I think that if that type of rhetoric is like spread around Hammond, and then kids are like, well, I don't know anything because the mayor said that I'm not a professional about something, and they can't be curious about something, I think that's like a really unhealthy rhetoric to spread across the city of
I
Hammond.
apologize.
And the second thing is, I just wanted to say, and this is something related to an environmental issue, is that you mentioned that the city sells a lot of water. And just this past summer, I participated in a canvas that was talking about the CO2 pipeline that BP is planning on building through Whiting, through this county, all the way to Jasper County. And I guess I'm interested in wondering what the city's position is on that, and if you'd be interested in talking more to activists and people that don't want this pipeline in our community because of the risks that it poses to things like water supply, healthy,
I'd talk to
clean
anybody.
oil. What's
So,
that?
I'd talk to anybody, sure.
Okay,
So,
I just
call me
wanted
after.
to.
No, I'm aware of the project. I appreciate
Okay.
you bringing it up. And I know that there's people that are nervous about it. And I think that where they're coming from is the right place. They're trying to do the right thing, but I don't know if this works or not. But yeah, I'd love to talk about it. I think that project's fascinating, so thank you. Sorry, I didn't mean to offend you earlier. So, all right, let's go ahead and move on. Thank you for everybody coming out here for that issue, and we'll cover all the other issues as well. So,
Who was responsible for the alley from 173rd to Kentucky, 7200 block? If the railroad is responsible, how does one contact them?
Okay. Hey, Kelly. Kelly's head of inspections department. He's been with the city of Hammond for longer than me. Been in charge of inspections for 15 years now, probably?
Almost 20.
20, nice.
Yeah.
So good to see you.
We've had this issue with this parcel before. The alley is obviously the city of Hammond's. The portion of land between the railroad tracks and the alley is the railroads. We actually issued them a citation for some asphalt that they dumped there and some lingering concrete and from some work that they did, and obviously the citation was just ignored.
So you're saying, let me rephrase what you just said. So you cited the railroad for the unsanitary condition of their property, and they ignored it?
That's correct.
Wow, it's interesting. Let me tell you a story about Robertsdale, and we'll get back to this alley in particular. Robertsdale has a lot of railroads going through it, right? And there's one piece of railroad in Robertsdale, which is the north part of our city, for those of you that aren't aware, that basically it's heavy traveled because it's from Chicago going to our Horseshoe Casino, okay? And that stretch right there has a ton of railroad properties, and it's completely filled with litter, all right? And it's railroad property, so we can't just go in there and clean it because it's their property, right? So we work with them. Railroad companies, would you please clean up your property? Ignored it. Railroad companies, we're gonna cite you. Psh, you can't cite us, we're railroads. So finally I said, okay, can you go clean the property with our people? Send Hammond people onto railroad property just to clean it because we don't want to look at that in our community, right? And we did, and guess what? They came out there and threatened to arrest us for trespassing because we're on railroad property cleaning up the stuff that they won't clean. These are the people we're supposed to trust. This is the type of attitude that railroads give to cities. They don't care. They don't care if the kids are crawling through unless you read about it in the newspaper. But if you don't read about it in the newspaper, they don't care. They don't care about Hammond. They don't care. This is the ones we're supposed to be making deals with.
Mayor, if I can get a copy of that complaint, I will go by there tomorrow morning and see what we can do as far as what's on city property. Give you a better idea of what's actually on the railroad portion of the property. I know there's a big hill of asphalt that they dumped, but yeah, okay. We have dealt with this issue before. It just went nowhere, and we can't really send city property on railroad property to move that. As you can see, their cooperation is pretty limited. But I will go by there again in the morning and see what we can do as far as on the city's portion. Okay.
Cool. Thanks, Joe.
Does the city of Hammond have plans to build a tiny house community or a small house community?
Where's Brian? Hey, Brian. Could you grab a microphone? I'm going deep if I go to Brian right off the bat. The city planner, Brian Poland's been city planner for 30 plus years.
Well, with the city for 35 years.
35 years, city planner. This is an interesting question. I've never been asked a question about tiny homes, but I do know other communities like Cherville, I believe, has an area where they have tiny homes.
Yeah, we really haven't explored that option. I think a lot of it is, we talk about what available land we have available for single-family houses. We are looking for, that upper scale house for people to move into, but we haven't really explored the tiny house concept.
Was there somebody who wants to follow that up? Oh, thanks for the sign. Appreciate it. I see it. Thanks. They got a sign. I'll let the people in Go Hammond know. They have a sign that says Briar East Woods out there. So, hi.
Does the city of Hammond discharge raw sewage water to the Grand and/or Little Calumet rivers?
No. But when we have CSO conditions, we have to report it to the federal government, and we do. I'm going to pass off to Mila Krasinski, who's the head of the Hammond Sanitary District, to talk about this. But sometimes we get so much rain and we overfill the plant, and we have a 50+ million spill over
the basin across the street, which is west.
And sometimes we have so much water that fills up also, and when that does, we have something called a CSO event, and it's reportable.
Yes, and before that water gets into the Grand Calumet River, it gets chlorinated, Mayor.
Right.
So we do take as much precaution as we possibly can in order to not let that happen. So we do the best we can.
Under normal conditions, though, like on a normal day with normal flow going through the plant, what we discharge into the river is clean water. Technically, you could drink it. I wouldn't say drink it, but technically you could drink it. I wouldn't do it personally, because I know where it was, but you could.
The plant's designed to handle 68.
I think that should be part of your job, is to drink the effluent. Just to show the public you have confidence in it.
I've worked for the city for 42 years, Mayor, plus, and it could be ready for retirement. If Scott Rakos would join me.
I always said, I was on a submarine named after Hyman G. Rickover when I was in the Navy. Hyman G. Rickover was the father of the nuclear Navy. And people were really skeptical of nuclear power back then when he created a plant. And they have effluent from the plant that's clean also, and we discharge it into the sea. And people were nervous about, are you discharging radioactive water into the sea? So Hyman G. Rickover, to prove it to the American public, had the effluent put into a cup, and he drank it in front of all the TV cameras back in like the 1960s. So I think it's the least you could do, Mylan, is show the Hammond public it's just clean water.
I'll take that under advisement, Mayor.
Thank you, Mylan. How long have you been with the city, Mylan?
42 plus years.
And he's a resident of Robertsdale, so he couldn't raise his hand in Hessville, but he's been with the city for a long time. Thank you.
Yep. Welcome.
Okay. Did that answer the question for who that was? Cool. Let's move on. Oh, hi, ma'am. Did you have a follow-up? Right behind you, Eileen.
Topic if we're moving on?
Oh, is it? Oh, no. It was about the sanitarium. I apologize. You can fill out a questionnaire, ma'am, and we'll do it. So, all right. What do you got next, Eileen? Well, Hammond Sanitary District, I didn't say they don't have overflow events. They do. In fact, before I became mayor, and that's boring to listen to facts, but there would be like, I don't want to say 50 a year. Mylan, I need you to grab this.
Sure.
How many CSO events did the Hammond Sanitary District have when my father was the mayor of Hammond back in the 1980s?
A lot.
Like what?
Every time it rained.
Like what, 50 a year, 100 a year?
It could be close to 50 a year.
50 a year. So when Mayor Delo was, so that's over decades, and then Mayor Delo was mayor, same?
Close.
Okay.
Yep.
And then Mayor McDermott took over, and the federal government, Department of Justice, US EPA, started approaching these, what we call CSO events differently, and suing civilly for violations in the past. Everybody has them, by the way. Okay? And their standard is no more 50, no more 30, no more 10. You want 0, which is great. I think we all agree this is not ideal when we have an overflow event with the district, right? I'll come back to you, I promise, okay? So with the standard of 0, that's a great goal. So let's understand what that means, Hammond residents. That means we have to massively build our plant to make it so that it can never, ever, ever possibly overflow. This is like stuff that we talk about in meetings, but when you put it on paper, you're starting to talk about something that could be $250 million, if not more. Dean, I'm no expert, I'm no professional engineer, and I know we don't really care about that kind of stuff, but how much would a plant that's never, ever going to overflow cost?
Hundreds of millions of dollars.
And then, how do we pay for, let's say,
ratepayers.
Let's just say $400 million. $400 million, and you'll have a plant that never, ever overflow, Mayor. Awesome. People are going to be so happy. So I go to Hammond residents. Hammond residents, I got great news. I'm going to build a plant that'll never, ever, ever, ever overflow with global warming and everything. And it's only $400 million. How do we pay for that, Mayor? I have to raise your sanitary rates by 50 times, and we'll be able to pay for that. And then you go, what? Like my monthly bill will go from $50 to $600? Whatever the number is, maybe I'm exaggerating. We pay for this stuff. Anything we do at that plant, Hammond residents pay. Hammond residents. And we have to do a lot in the coming years. Next decade, $250 million. Right, Mylan?
And that's a minimum, Mayor.
Minimum. That's a federal consent decree we have.
Yes.
$250 million. That's going to be us, guys. Make no mistake about it. So yeah, okay, Hammond Sanitary District got nicked for $2 million. In our budget, that sounds like a lot, but that was from combined sewer overflow events, and we're striving for 0 on that, but that's going to be expensive. So sorry about the long-winded answer, bud.
So,
How do you expect us? I mean, a new stormwater facility is a positive step. It's not a catch-all solution. How do you expect that this is going to be preparing us for the future? We have climate models predicting heavier rainfalls.
Right.
How do we know? Are we discussing these models
All the
and these
time.
plans?
With the Army Corps of Engineer, with the sanitary, with our consultants, we have to plan for the future.
We're
we
being
serve-
sued now
We got
already, and how do you expect us to believe that this facility is even going to cover the termination conditions for this consent decree? We have $500 a day,
We're not going to be able to solve this at Mayor's Night Out, but if you want to come in,
$3,000 a week
I don't know what
for
you're talking
3
about.
years, and they could sue us even more if we don't. And you want to develop over.
I just want to put
these
this.
woods and
I just want to put this in a frame of reference. Okay, what he's referring to is a 1993 action that was taken against the city of Hammond. There was a consent decree in 1999 that reflected the money that he's referring to, and it's been ongoing for nearly 30 years. This is an ongoing issue that the city is continuing to work on with the EPA through the Hammond Sanitary District through consent decrees. The mayor is correct that ultimately the cost of this is going to have to be borne by the customers of the Hammond Sanitary District. So what we're trying to do and what the mayor's trying to do with the Sanitary District is to plan appropriately to get this thing done. That's why you have a 5 million gallon reservoir now across from the Sanitary District. That wasn't there 8 years ago. So,
50 million, isn't it?
I'm sorry, thank you,
50,
Mayor.
50.
Times 10, 50 million. So I just want to give a frame of reference to what this gentleman's referring to. It stems from a 1993 action. Yeah, I understand that. It's just, it stems from the 93 action and it goes through to today.
But these problems are persisting.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
And they will continue to persist if you develop over the Briar Eastwood.
When we develop.
It's already flooding.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. All right, what's the next question? I wish this was a debate where you cut people off when their time is up. Good, let's move on. That's what the moderators need to do in the presidential race. I think, this is just me though, but I think part of our problem in America, right and left, is we don't believe experts anymore. I think that's a problem, but I do, listen. Well, and then people scream out and they think it's effective. When you go to a public meeting, there's a lot of people that are following the rules, and then you're special though, you get to scream out loud. This is a slippage in society, so that's what I think, but who am I? I'm stupid. Sorry, man. I've never seen you married. Would you, Shush? All right. Well, I'm not going to have somebody screaming out from the audience. I'm not. Congratulations. Thank you. Appreciate it. Really? Who's bullying now? You're screaming out loud. Good. Then leave. Then leave. Sorry. Good. Keep screaming out. It's very effective. No, you just show you have no class. So, all right. And yet, it's funny. When I run for mayor, I overwhelmingly win every time. But like, I realize that no matter how well you do in an election, you still have people that don't like you. I'm very aware of that. And yet I sleep very well at night, and our city's thriving. I hate to say it, so. Let's go.
Why are we spending so much money on planting trees if we're not going to care for them? During our most recent severe drought, the water department was seen going around flushing hydrants, causing water to flood the streets. Why can't this water be redirected to nourish the struggling trees that we have spent so much money planting? Additionally, I had seen Parks Department mowing over brown dead grass, kicking up dust, and creating health hazards.
Noted. Thank you. Why do you guys flush those fire hydrants, water department?
We flush twice a year throughout the city of Hammond, and the reason for that is to kick up any stalemate that's in the pipes. So what we're doing is pretty much flushing all the service lines, and, you know, so that way you have cleaner water.
Could you please redirect that other places when you, I mean, is that realistic? That, like, if you kick out 100 gallons, that I want you to relocate that 100 gallons to a tree on the other side of town?
We'll try.
I mean, is that realistic?
No, it's not.
Thank you.
A resident would like to address the proposed rate hikes by NIPSCO. In their new rate case filing, they are planning to impose an average increase of $45 a month by 2026, which totals over $500 a year. They are passing on costs because of their own mistake, like the coal ash dump sites and also new data centers going in. What can the city do to help mitigate these utility costs?
There's not much the city could do in regards to a NIPSCO rate case. We could sue and get involved. I've done that before. It was, I guess at the time, it was somewhat successful. That was 20 years ago. But I haven't been approached about this. I'm not thrilled anytime our utilities go up, but I understand at the same time because I also run 2 utilities and I realize the cost of everything is going up. So like if the cost is going up for you to run your household, just imagine how much the cost of chemicals is going up to run the Hammond Sanitary District. Or the cost of power is going up to run the water filtration plant that's running 24 hours a day. So it bites everybody, and it bites the city just as hard as it bites everybody. So.
A request is put in for a new garbage can. A city rep did come out to evaluate. He did say that the only way the city could replace without charging is video proving that the garbage employees, sanitation employees, caused the damage. He then stated he could tell that they did the damages he saw. He asked for video proof, asking for
Do me a
video
favor.
proof.
Could you forward that to Alex?
Absolutely. Pictures attached. We'll make
Are
sure
you,
that those get to
Is the
them.
person here that wrote that? I promise you I'll follow that up. Thank you. Sorry
We'll
about
make sure that gets to your office.
Sometimes you have to understand, sometimes my employees are a little too zealous, okay? They're trying to protect the public purse, and sometimes they lose sight of what the bigger goal is. We serve you, you know? So like, I think that's the kind of thing that should come to my desk and I'll get involved, okay? Thank you. So get a copy to Scott as well, okay?
Absolutely.
This happens sometimes, and they're trying to protect an asset. So if we gave them out for free, everybody would want 10 of them, right? So what they do is they guard them zealously, and sometimes they're a little too zealous. So I promise I'll insert myself, okay? Thank you.
Additional police presence is required on the 171st to 173rd Oakdale Avenue area due to increased car theft in the last 6 to 8 months.
Okay. Hi, Chief.
Hi.
This is Chief Long. He's the Assistant Chief of Police. Chief Andy couldn't be here because he's ill today, so I appreciate Chief Long being here. Chief Long and Andy work very closely together, so I know that you're aware of what's going on.
Right. Okay, the only thing I would say, Eileen, to that is I do have the patrol captain and the community policing captains here tonight. If we could just get a copy of that, I will make sure that we do everything possible. And if, Captain Bunner, if you could speak to that person and get the particulars. Thank you.
Anybody want to follow that up? Prime. Yep. Okay, thank you.
Regarding a concern at last mayor's night out, no police presence as promised months ago to enforce the school zone speed limits. A child was hit on October 8th from a car speeding during morning drop-off. The crossing guard had been hit prior. This is at Washington Irving Elementary.
Okay. Go to Rob, or?
I could talk about it again. We were aware of this situation. I want to say the school crossings are an ongoing kind of battle for us. We're trying to figure out where kids cross most regularly. So that's one issue. People driving, over the speed limit is another issue. So again, if we could get a copy of that, Eileen, I will make sure, and Captain Bunner, I'm sure will take care of that. So, and I'm sorry that it didn't get handled already to whoever wrote that question.
Could you share the copy with engineering too, please?
Absolutely. Next question. Is there any possibility that the Paul Henry's Art Gallery will become a landmark or receive a plaque?
Well, one is complicated, I imagine, and the other one's fairly easy. I mean, we could give them a plaque, and they deserve it. It's not, Paul Henry's Art Gallery, for those of you that aren't aware, has been a landmark in downtown Hammond for, I'm going to say 100 years plus. Thank you. Thank you. All right, I'll defer to you. You said it with authority, so. No, I appreciate it. You were filling it in. You weren't interrupting. And Paul Henry's Art Gallery stayed open during the pandemic, thrived, and now downtown Hammond's getting rebuilt around it, so it's a great story. It's a great recommendation. So can you do me a favor? Can you forward that to the mayor's office? And I won't tell Paul Henry's that you were here, okay? Thank you, ma'am. Oh, thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it.
A resident and their dog who has lived in the city of Hammond for 1 year has been attacked 2 to 3 times. What can be done about this?
That's not good. What part of the city, ma'am? What part of the city, if you don't mind?
Can I ask, Mayor, attacked by another dog? Is that what you're saying?
Okay.
Have you talked to animal control about that? Has there been any conversation with animal control? Because Miss Bunner right there.
Okay. What kind of dog is it? Is it a pit bull or?
Unleashed animals. Oh, I'm so sorry. She's getting attacked by unleashed animals. We've only been here a year, and it's happened 3 times now.
What, did they just let their dog out? Just let it
Yeah.
run? Well, you have animal control is run by Lainey, who's in the back, and she's a Hessville resident also, which is handy. Hi, Lainey, how you doing?
Has this been reported to the police?
Every single time we've reported it to the police, one of the times there was even a quarantine necessary because my dog got bit.
Okay, so we do know the address of where these dogs live
You
at?
should, it should be in your files.
Okay. Do you know any of the dates that these happened?
I can get if I have information given to me, I can forward it to you. I
Yeah,
have
if
all
you
the.
can call me or email me.
Can I talk
We'll-
to you after the?
We'll get on this
okay.
tomorrow.
I'll talk to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it, ma'am. Sorry, and we'll get on this tomorrow. I love Mayor's Night Out because when the system sometimes fails, this is accountability, and I appreciate you being here. I apologize about that. I've had it happen where I live. I live on an area where there's a lot of people that walk, and there was dogs that got loose a couple times over there, and it's not fun. I'm not even afraid of dogs, and it's not fun when they run up on you. So we'll follow it up tomorrow, okay? Thank you.
A resident was recently informed that Purdue approached the landlord about purchasing property to enlarge residencies for students. Is the city aware of this?
Say this again, I'm sorry.
I was recently informed that Purdue approached a landlord about purchasing property to enlarge student residency. Is the city aware of this?
No, but that makes me happy to hear. That does make me happy. I think a strong Purdue equals a strong Hammond. And everywhere I see college towns, the neighborhoods close to this college, it's usually filled with restaurants and things to do, and that's missing at Purdue Northwest. And there's a couple thousand students living on campus now. I know they're looking at another location on campus for student housing, and if they're talking about another location besides that, I think that's a very encouraging sign, because Purdue's probably, if not the largest employer in the city, it's the second largest employer. And if they struggled, and by the way, they have multiple campuses, so they could leave Hammond, and they have another campus ready to go. So I like it when Purdue is setting roots in our city. Like the athletic programs here, I think that's great. If they're talking about another dorm, I love it. Get me on board, Chancellor. I want to be part of it, because the more they're investing in Hammond, the less likely they'll ever leave us. Because if Purdue left us, that would be a dark day for our city. It's part of our backbone. So if that's true, it makes me happy to hear. Hi, in the back, you want to follow that up? Sir? Yeah, we'll get you in a sec. How you doing?
I live in that property.
Oh, cool.
I was just informed of it 2 weeks ago, so I have not been able to look too deeply in it.
Are you on 7300 block?
The apartments on Alcott,
Oh,
on
okay.
169th.
Okay.
The
Interesting.
company does not own them, they administrate them. They've refused the offer. But I also know other properties that Purdue does own near the university. The question is, if they get our building, they're going to want other houses on that street. They're going to want to keep expanding, and I understand that. I'm an alumni. I've graduated with 2 degrees.
Yes, sir.
Not that they're doing me damn good, but whatever. But that's the concern I have, because you and I are neighbors. You're about a block and a half away from where I am.
Yes, sir.
That's a concern I
Well,
have.
you have more information on this than I
expansion.
do, sir. You definitely have more.
I'm still doing more investigation, but
Okay.
yeah, it's just the first step.
Okay. Well,
you know.
I know you like going to mayor's night, and I appreciate that. And why don't we continue to follow this? And if something develops, we can talk about it next month at mayor's night. But, you know, obviously I hear you and what you're saying, but I think Purdue, usually when they buy a building, it's usually a positive thing.
Well, so I guess the big question is, would the city assist them if they ever ask for eminent domain?
They have the power of eminent domain themselves, sir.
Okay.
So they don't need us. Kevin, I'm right on that, aren't I? I am, right? They're a public university. They have to, right?
The public education, not charter schools do not have the power of eminent domain. However, I'm pretty sure school cities do. Yep, Scott just confirmed that for me, and I'm almost positive that public
They did the school
universities do
barn
as well.
In Hammond, they did the school barn. They had to take
Yep.
losses for that. So the public,
Yeah, school city I know does. Charter schools I know do not.
I'm sure
I would assume public universities do as well. But I'll double check right
But
now.
I have not been approached. And anytime we're approached about eminent domain, it really matters to me how many people live there, how many people are homeowners. I mean, we look at all the demographic data, going back to, I hate to reopen the Hessville issue, it's an important fact is how many houses, how many are homeowner occupied, you know, apartment complexes is obviously, that's dense, you know, that affects a lot of people. We've dealt with that issue in River Park, so, but let's just continue to monitor this, sir. I appreciate you bringing it up at Mayor's Night. I have not heard about it, and if we do, we'll talk about it, okay? And we're not going to do anything rash. I promise you. I have not been. I talk to the chancellor regularly too. So, if I hear something, I promise you, we'll talk about it. Okay? Thank you. They do what? They do. Thank you. Kevin confirmed that universities do have eminent domain power. So, thank you, Kevin. Hi. Oh, hi. Another question. Hi. How you doing?
Oh, good evening.
Thank you for
Yes, we were wondering about the bullet detectors on the street light poles.
Okay, the shot spotter, sir.
Yes, and we're wondering if we're paying that lease for NIPSCO, you know, the streets that have the lights already, we were supposed to get rid of those. And then let's say if you put the detector in the alley, you know, what's a couple 130 feet? And like I said, we could save some money or put them on the main streets.
They were put in place strategically, so you just can't put them anywhere you want. Sorry about that. Sir, they were the company responsible for putting those in, put those in very strategically. They can't just be placed wherever you want to put them. So wherever they are is where it gives us the best reading if there's a shot fired in that area. So it's not something we can just move 130 feet. What is he saying, the lease them?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure about that. I don't.
Dean, do you know what he's talking about?
Well, most of shot spotters are on city-owned poles. They're not on NIPSCO poles, and they're attached to the power that lights the pole.
Okay.
So NIPSCO, we would pay the service fee.
Yeah, because don't forget, a while back we were told to put the new street lights in and take those poles down that we are leasing to NIPSCO. And you could keep the poles up, but at least take the light off and take the wire off. You know, one or the other, you know.
Okay. Thank you, sir. All right. Let's go on to the next question.
Regarding the Hammond wheel tax for street repairs, how is the city going to collect the tax from the Hammond residents using the roads with out-of-state plates?
You're talking about the wheel tax?
Correct.
How's the city going to, it's a reciprocity question, right?
Yes.
Great question. Whoever asked this, I appreciate it. This is obviously a sensitive issue in regards to the wheel tax, because the wheel tax has been city had the ability in 2018 to pass this tax, and at the time it didn't make sense for us to pass it because Horseshoe Casino was thriving. When Horseshoe Casino thrives, through our road funding formulas, they're all inflated because the boat's doing so well. So our rationale at the time is, why would I tax Hammond residents when our boats and our roads are doing well? And unfortunately, with the emergence of Hard Rock, it's become the largest casino in the state, and definitely in Northwest Indiana. It's hurt our casino revenue badly. We're to the tune of $13 million this year alone, lost revenue. This is money we used to put into our streets. So I raised the possibility with the Hammond Council of passing the wheel tax, dedicating 100% of the wheel tax revenue to roads only, maintaining roads, not local matches, not bridges, not sidewalks, maintaining roads, period. And the council agreed that we needed this. We don't love it, but we need it. It's only going to generate $1.5 million of revenue a year. I'm not saying that's not a lot of money, but when you look at 300 miles of roadway, it's not a lot of money. But it will help us, and we're going to use that money primarily to smooth your road, to pave it, to top coat. And we'll be able to do a lot with 1.5 million, Dean, right? If you're just focusing on the top coat, we could do a lot.
Resurfacing, yeah, we're about $50,000 a block for resurfacing, so that would help us go.
And you're going to hit the roads that are in the worst shape and fixing those
as much
up.
as we can, right? We rate the roads, and those that can easily, effectively be resurfaced, we do. If they're gone too far, then we have to reconstruct.
So obviously this issue came up. The issue is, well, this isn't fair. We already have too many Illinois plates in our city. Now you're just giving them one more reason not to get an Indiana tag. That's true. And it's a problem in Hammond. It's a problem that I don't think will ever be fixed, but it's not like we're going to stop. I said it last night. I don't think the chief of police is going to call me up and say, Mayor, I got good news. I got rid of all the Illinois license plates in Hammond. I can't wait until I get that phone call, Chief Long. I'm looking forward to it. But I don't think that's ever going to happen, because if we eradicate hundreds of them, hundreds more are right behind it. And there's a flow of Illinois residents moving into our city right now, and a lot of them aren't changing their tags. And it's our job to train them and to get those tags changed, and that's what we have to do. And we do. We have an officer specifically assigned to it, full time. This is what that officer does. So we'll get this one and we'll be right with you. Okay, sir? Hi, sir.
Yes, I'm just going to add on to that a little bit, because I think we have a lot of issues with the roads, how they're being torn up, and as you said, the gaming industry is not as strong as it used to be, and we have even now Bally's coming into Chicago, so that might even be a more drain on our gaming system.
And the south side too, sir. The south side's got that casino opening up off the highway.
Our south side, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my question is, are you just going to keep taxing the residents? Is there any other option? Like, I've read about progressive taxes where you can more higher income people can be taxed more.
Oh, yeah.
I know that's pretty controversial, but like, we have a lot of people in the city suffering already with, like someone said, NIPSCO rates hiking in the next 2 years. And I've read that's because of issues with the coal ash and these new data centers that are coming in. So their costs are socialized onto us. Why can't our costs be socialized onto these businesses who are, driving trailer trucks and destroying the roads? I mean,
no, I agree with you, but listen.
I just don't see the fairness in the taxes.
Okay, I appreciate it, and I appreciate your question. And the idea you have about regressive taxes, I don't think that's legal. If we wanted to, I'm not saying that's a cop-out. If that ever became an option, but realistically, let's be honest. We're talking about Indiana, because we can't do that right now. So if I wanted to do something like that, I would have to go down to my legislature and say, hey, legislature, you need to give us the ability to do this so that the wealthier people in Hammond can pay these taxes. Well, I mean, we could do that. I know. You could. I agree. If you gave me a bill, I could give it to Representative Jackson. She'd bring it downstate, and she'd say, I have this great idea to fund roads in the city of Hammond. I'm not being sarcastic, I don't think it would probably get a hearing, not even one hearing. They'd just be like, nope, that's not gonna ever happen. And if they got a hearing, I'd be shocked, but it would never pass. If it got a hearing, I doubt it would get a hearing. And I've seen, and it's not just your bill I'm picking on, we've had great ideas that, we had an idea about, it should be illegal in Indiana to shoot a gun in the air in a city. I think we can all agree that's dangerous, right? Because that bullet goes up and comes down, right? In fact, in Hammond, we had a little kid, Noah Inman, got killed by a falling bullet. So the very next year, I go to the General Assembly, and we said, General Assembly, can you pass a law that says you can't shoot a gun up in the air like this in a city because that bullet will come down and kill somebody? We named it the Noah Inman Law. We thought the parents were there. Didn't even get a hearing. They could care less that the parents were there. They could care less that their kid had a bullet that fell out of the sky and dropped onto his head. They could care less. And they didn't even give it a hearing. So unfortunately, I've been jaded by them over time because you have great ideas all the time and you approach them and they're just like, so. And I'm not saying your idea is a bad idea, sir. I'm not. I'm just, it's not legal right now. And for that to become legal, it'd have to be authorized by the General Assembly, and that's where the problems begin. So, but thank you for the question, okay? This has been a heck of, oh, we have one up here, and I told him we'd be right back, Eileen. Oh. Sure.
I don't think a lot of people realize this, and I have it in my neighborhood, and I live near Dowling Park.
Mm-hmm.
People are moving in from Illinois, and they got Illinois plates on their car, and they take the front plate off, and they back their car into the driveway.
Yeah.
Then I call the police out to tell them this guy's got Illinois plates, and he's been living there for two years, and they're like, well, we can't go in there because that's code enforcement. So then I call code enforcement, and they come out, and they say, well, I can't go up his driveway. That's not legal, so there's nothing I can do. So what do? Do we start ticketing them more with missing one plate on the front? Or do we change the law? My whole neighborhood's full of cars backed into the driveway. I mean, it's terrible.
Okay.
I didn't know if you guys
Are
knew
you
that.
writing this down? Nick, what do you got? First off, and I also, Chief, I want you to jump in on this too, okay? Nick?
Yeah, so I guess the issue that we run into is, there are privacy laws that people have. You have 6-foot privacy fence or even garages. They could be storing them in garages. The reciprocity has always been a focus for our inspectors. If they see it on the property, we get time and date stamp photos. We take them to court. If they bring in a registration for mom or dad, then unfortunately, the judge dismisses it. But we go through. Right, and I don't doubt that or disagree with you, sir. I know it's a problem. It's it boils down to what we can prove in court.
But you know for a fact they're Illinois plated, right?
Well, yeah, they got Illinois
All
plate.
right.
What area is this?
Are these written down on there? Yeah. Can we
Okay.
put Frank on this?
Got it, yes.
You got this?
Yes.
Just on that block, literally like go on the property and like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Sir-
is that a problem if we're looking at a license plate, walking on the property?
I mean, I've always said to the police, if it's in plain view and there's a violation, then they can go on the property for the limited
If it
purpose.
is a
For the
driver's
limited
license-
purpose
is-
of that.
Is a license plate in plain view? if
I
it's
would say
backed up?
yes, if they can see it, yeah.
And sir, Mayor, I would say that it could be as simple as Frank knocking on the door and having a discussion with them. We found that a lot of people don't know that they have 60 days to turn their plates, change their plates from out of state to Indiana plates. So if we have the addresses, I would send Sergeant Herrera there. He could talk to them, and it might be as simple as just a conversation.
But if they took off one of the plates and backed it in,
that's
a little shady.
I get it, but I agree with
There's
Kevin.
DNA all over those people.
I agree with Kevin. As long as we're not going in a garage or a fenced-in yard, I don't think we have any
All right,
problem
let's
putting
get
a
Frank
ticket
on
on
this
there.
tomorrow, okay? Mm-hmm. Okay, we're on it. Help us out, okay? All right, thank you. All right, we got 3 questions left. I want to get through all the questions before the end of Mayor's Night, so just focus on the written questions, please.
As Hammond continues to prosper, how can more vacant lots become available to build homes so that people can come to the city and build homes?
I was driving here, and I stopped on the way and drove down Florida Avenue, brand new neighborhood that we just got done building single-family lots on. It's a beautiful little neighborhood right here in Hessville. Another one I started when I first became mayor is Paris View, which has a lot of public safety officers that bought homes in Hammond and moved there. I love building homes in this city. I love making single-family homes available for people to build homes here. So if you got an area where it works, I promise you, you have a mayor that'll listen. So. By East Woods, yeah. TJ, he's trying to get me in trouble, TJ. So, thank you.
A question for you directly, Mayor.
Yes.
How are you going to seek input from residents on issues that affect us?
I used to do 11 Mayor's Night Out a year, and then we always had one district that got shortchanged, and we didn't think it was fair. So we went down to 6. That's why I've been doing 6 a year for a few terms. I don't know how many of these I've done, 300, 400 Mayor's Night Out. We made it so that Hammond residents could watch it in person, or they could watch it online. Thousands of people watch these videos. Hundreds of people make comments. Not always positive, obviously. Mayor's Night Out is a First Amendment zone. That's how I have always done it. I consider myself transparent, and I'm sure there's people in here that would beg to differ, but that's something I pride myself on, is being honest and telling people what's going on. And of course, people in here called me a flat liar just a few minutes ago, so that's part of the job. When you become mayor, people are gonna call you a flat liar, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it. They can say you're a thief. Not a damn thing you can do about it. It's part of the job. If you can't handle it, then you shouldn't be a mayor, so. Oh, hi. We got a microphone coming, okay? Microphone's right there. Thank you.
My question was about really in-depth kind of input, because we come here and depending on which side of the issue I'm on or you're on or whatever, it can be really adversarial. And I think that if there had been a meeting, like a town hall meeting about 2 or 3 big issues, for example, the dunes, that has just had repercussions and trickling, conversations. But if there had been like a presentation, this is what we want to do and why, and people could come and ask questions and have it more laid back or more informative, it gets really tense in here. My stomach gets tight because this person's cutting off that person and you're cutting off that person, and it just becomes so adversarial. So I would really like to see some new kind of town hall where maybe it's a committee with, if it's a fireman's issue or a policeman's issue or the engineer's issue, we could talk face to face and really get an understanding of where we're coming from and why this may be the best solution or why we didn't think of that solution. Because I want to participate, but sometimes I can't bear to come because there's so much animosity.
Cool. I appreciate your comments. Thank you. Appreciate you being here. Okay.
Is that something you might consider?
It's funny, you said you're not satisfied with the Mayor's Night Out format, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not really satisfied with Mayor's Night Out. I was just telling Scott, this is problematic for Mayor's Night Out, is the screaming from the audience, the hijacking of a meeting is problematic for Mayor's Night Out. Something I've done for 21 years, and quite frankly, it's been the hallmark of my administration is transparency and openness and going out in the community. But if you allow people to hijack a meeting, it threatens the existence of a program like Mayor's Night Out. It does. You can't start screaming from an audience and expect to have a good, calm meeting. It just doesn't work that way. That's what worries me. So what you're saying is almost an exact conversation I had with Chief of Staff just a few minutes ago. Is this worries me, is the screaming from the audience, the insult, and granted, insults are part of the job, but it worries me. So I'm listening, and I appreciate your comments.
Well, don't you think it's maybe because people are frustrated or they feel cut off or they don't feel like
I'm not sure what it is, but it's not just a Hammond issue either, ma'am. America's a pretty tense place nowadays, So.
try and make our little corner of it more
I agree.
community-based and more civil?
But yeah, And I appreciate how calm you're being, but I remember a meeting where you basically called me the devil and told me you wished I died. So that wasn't that long ago.
I didn't call you the devil, and I didn't say I
You
wish
wished
you
me
died.
well, it was something along those lines.
I called
we
you.
all learn our lessons, and we all say
I
things.
called you fascist because
what it
of
was.
how you
That's what-
made
that's what it was, so.
decisions about the city without asking us.
I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate you being nice and asking a
But
nice
I didn't
question, so.
ever say I wished you died. I mean, we're all going to die, but I never wished it on
Thank you, ma'am.
And
So-
never called you the devil.
Thank you. This has been a mayor's night I'll never forget, so thank you. It was, we got another question, right, Eileen? Eileen, well, let's do the written question first. The written questions are,
So this is actually a positive comment. That wraps it up. Thanks to the fire department for a great job they do putting on the open house at Station 8.
that was nice. I agree. It was a great job. The firemen did a great job. Station 8's something we're very proud of. We built it in Hessville on purpose. It's a wonderful station. We use that station as a model for other stations around the city. We built it here on purpose, and it's something we're all proud of. And the firemen are great. And I'm in a contract negotiation with them right now, and they're asking for big pay raises, and they deserve it. And it's been civil, it's been tough, and we're gonna have a good deal worked out soon, just like we will with the police department, but that means we have to double down on our side and make sure we can pay everybody. So I appreciate everybody being here. I know that there was one more question, I apologize, but I'm wrapping up for the night. Take care, everybody. Mayor's Night Out is over. Take care.